G'day, wise souls and lovers of deep stories. Have you ever wondered why some people stand on a mountain of gold yet live in a dark cave of loneliness, while others, so poor they don't even have a cart to help them work, find treasures in the heart of the desert? Today, I'm taking you to the red, dusty plains where cruelty and kindness are about to have a fated showdown. This is the tale of a merchant who knew only profit, and a woodcutter with a heart of pure gold. I guarantee that by the end, you'll see the world through a much fairer lens. And hey, if you want to grow your intellectual bank account every day, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It's the smartest way to ensure you never miss the seeds of kindness we sow every week. Now, buckle up, we are heading into the land of legends. Once upon a time, in a remote inland region, where dusty roads stretched forever under a scorching sun, a place much like the Australian outback, lived a rich merchant named Marcus. He owned wagons of gold and the strongest horses in the region. But people didn't speak of Marcus for his wealth, they spoke of him with fear because he was a man of cold pride and cruelty. To Marcus, the world was split into two, things that made money and things that were useless. He often told his workers, "In business, there's no room for compassion. If something doesn't make a cent of profit, it's nothing but rubbish." Among his horses was Shadow, a legendary black horse, who had given his entire life to Marcus. Shadow had carried his most valuable goods across mountains, deserts, and storms without ever failing. But time is a harsh master. Shadow grew weak, his legs slowed, and his eyes slowly lost their sight. Once he was completely blind, Marcus pushed him into the darkest corner of the stable. No one brushed him, no one spoke to him. Shadow stood in silence and forgotten, like a discarded tool. In the same region lived a woodcutter named Aaron. At 50 years old, his back was bent from years of hard work, and his hands were cracked and rough. Aaron was so poor he didn't even have a cart, or an animal to help him. He had only his own shoulders to carry heavy firewood from the far hills back to the village. He lived in a small wooden hut with his wife and 5 children, facing Marcus's insults every time he went to sell his wood. One sweltering afternoon, Marcus looked at Aaron's firewood and sneered, "Look at this, Aaron. This wood is as pathetic as you are. Wait over there, I'll pay you when I feel like it." Aaron bowed his head in patience. "Please, Mr. Marcus, my children are waiting for food at home. I beg you to consider. HMPH, gold isn't something to be handed out to the low-born," Marcus growled, throwing a few meager coins into the dirt. Aaron quietly picked up the money. As he passed the stables, his eyes met Shadow's in the dark corner. He saw the thin horse with his head lowered in deep sorrow. Aaron's chest tightened. He saw his own life in that horse. Both had worked until they were empty, and both were discarded when they were no longer useful. Aaron stepped closer and gently touched Shadow's neck. The horse didn't pull away, he leaned into the touch. Aaron whispered, "Don't be afraid, old mate. I know your pain." As Aaron's tears fell, it was the first kindness Shadow had felt in a long, long time. When Aaron later asked if he could take the horse, Marcus laughed mockingly, "You want that blind beast? He's useless. He even lost 2 sacks of gold for me on a journey years ago. I'd rather let him rot here than give him to you." That night, filled with a twisted rage, Marcus beat Shadow with a whip, blaming the horse for his past failures. He ordered his men, "Take this blind horse deep into the desert and tie him to a dead tree. Let's see what his value is when he faces death." The next morning, Aaron went to the desert to cut wood and heard a weak, broken cry on the wind. He ran toward the sound and found Shadow tied to a dead tree, shaking and near death from thirst. Aaron fell to his knees, pouring the last drops of water from his own bottle into Shadow's mouth. "Hang in there, my friend. I'm taking you home." As Aaron led the blind horse back to the village, people laughed. "Oi, Aaron. You collecting trash now? That horse is just another mouth to feed. Aaron looked at them and said wisely, God often hides miracles inside what the world rejects. Aaron's family cared for Shadow with infinite patience, giving him food, water, and gentle words. Slowly, the horse grew stronger. One early morning, Shadow became restless. He pulled gently at Aaron's clothes, as if asking him to follow. Aaron trusted his mate and followed him into the heart of the Red Desert. Shadow moved with confidence, following an old route remembered deep inside him. They stopped at a rocky place marked by a stone shaped like a bird's head. Shadow hid the ground with his foot. Aaron dug and gasped as two old sacks appeared in the sand. It was the treasure Marcus had lost long ago. Aaron looked at the gold and said to Shadow, "We will only take what we need to feed the children and help those who are poor like us, Shadow." But Marcus's greed was a monster that never slept. Seeing Aaron had money for food, he grew suspicious and followed him into the desert. At the Birdhead Rock, when Marcus saw the gold, he charged like a wild beast. He and his worker began to fight violently over the gold in a madness of greed, eventually hurting each other badly. Aaron left that place behind forever. He never became proud. Instead, he used the gold to help others and, most importantly, paid for a surgery for his loyal mate. A miracle happened. Shadow regained his sight. For the rest of his years, the black horse ran freely across green fields, loved, calm, and respected as a true member of the family. My friends, the story of Aaron the woodcutter and Shadow the horse has come to an end, but its echo remains. The first lesson: kindness is never a waste. Marcus saw Shadow as worthless, but Aaron saw him as a mate, and that worthless creature was the one who led him to the treasure. In this life, never judge a soul by their outward appearance or their immediate usefulness. The second lesson: greed is a poison. Marcus had everything, but lost his soul in his own madness. Aaron, with a heart full of love, received the ultimate reward. Remember, a person's value isn't found in what they accumulate, but in what they give away. I hope this story, filled with the spirit of a fair go and mateship, has touched your heart. If you found this meaningful, give us a like and share it with your top-tier friends. And don't forget to hit subscribe, so we can keep building this community of wisdom and compassion together. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next story. Keep being kind, because the world always has a miracle waiting for a heart that knows how to love.